Welcome to Escapes. I'm Erika Hemphill, and I am thrilled to invite you on this empowering journey. Join me as we explore the art of escaping self-doubt, the constraints of the 9-to-5 grind, the false realities that hold us back. We'll empower you to embrace entrepreneurship, motherhood, and co-working with your partner, and to boldly step into leadership roles that were once thought unattainable. Escapes is more than a podcast. It's a community of resilient women and men who are rewriting their stories, chasing their dreams, and smashing through glass ceilings. Together, we'll share stories of triumph, strategies for success, discuss our failures, and use insights from remarkable individuals who have paved their own paths to greatness. So join me, Erika Hemphill, as we unlock the doors to your unlimited potential. It's time to escape, empower, and embrace. Oh, and elevate. Your adventure begins now.
We're back with another episode of Escapes, and I am super excited today because I have two of the most important women in my life, and we are all so different, and I am so excited to just sit here, drink my champagne at 9:40 in the morning and just have some real girl talk because I think it's relevant for what's going on in the world between balancing life, work mom life, balancing friendships. We struggle with that all together. And then just seeing our different dynamics and how we each balance each other out. So let's do just a small little intro, ladies, so that everybody knows who we are. So we have
Elizabeth Lyon. I am a senior clinical project specialist. I have a bachelor's in mass communications and journalism and a master's in public relations. I also teach kids acting and musical theater, and I perform myself.
Wonderful.
Living that single mom life as well.
I was just about to say single mom, but you do have
amazing family and friends. We have a really great village. We're really, really lucky, and I wouldn't be living this amazing life without everybody. So
I think she meant your son.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and my kid. His name is Rain because he reigns over my heart, and he's pretty precious. So
Yes.
I wake up every day very thankful.
Wonderful. And my other bestie.
Hello, my name is Ashley PK. I own the Ryan Cheese and Sandwich Shop in downtown Hammond. We also have the Ryan Specialty Foods, which is a wholesale company that imports cheeses from all over the world into New Jersey, down to Louisiana, and then we spread it out across from Louisiana to Florida, kind of all over. We have a bunch of different warehouses that house all of our cheeses. I do not have as many degrees as Elizabeth because she really likes school and I really like cheesy puns. So therefore, that's where it's at. I am a mother of two little girls that have me all over the place. I absolutely adore running after them. And then I have a husband. His name is Drew, and I adore him too. You know, he's cool. I don't hate him.
Well, in this room today, we have over 25 years of friendship.
Yep.
And when I think about that, I'm like, holy cow, I've known y'all almost half of my life.
Yeah.
Y'all have been a part of me, my ups, my downs, my crazy ass adventures of working in the corporate world, being a mom, and then also opening multiple companies and being a huge supporter of mine. Mm-hmm. And I just can't wait to sit here and just have a good time today. So if you are listening today, you are in for a huge laughing. I hope your tummy hurts when we are finished because there's no script, there's no questions, there's nothing that's off the table. So let's just jump right in. So our dynamic, how would you describe that?
Well, I feel like you're very free-spirited.
Yeah.
Let's
agreed.
use Sex and the City because that's our show.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
all
I
right.
am
Who are we?
absolutely Charlotte for sure. 100%. I am Charlotte. I even wrapped to Vanilla Ice in a Stepford wife mother yellow dress
In the Bahamas.
So I am absolutely Charlotte for
are.
sure. 100%.
with the dogs and everything.
Yeah. Yep. But my dogs are big dogs. I don't
And
like
she
them little
dotes
frou-frou
like
dogs.
100% over her children. Not that we
Yes.
don't dote, but she is an overdoter.
Yep. I do.
Elizabeth, who?
So I think that more Elizabeth is more like Miranda.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
for
do.
sure.
I do.
I was feeling the Carrie vibe, but okay.
Well, okay, so here's the reason why you're not Carrie. Because Carrie, you always wanted to have kids or
And
you
a
always
family.
have a family. Like you wanted that type of life. And even though Miranda never really wanted that, once she got it, it was like
She realized that's
it
what
was
she
her
wanted.
whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're
Good
still
point.
very just like she's a little rigid, but she's definitely very open.
Because I'm not rigid.
No, you're not rigid, but she's open of just like
This is who I am.
who she is, and this
Right.
is it.
She's very comfortable in that and not
Yeah.
Well, it has
apologetic
taken me
for
a really long time to get to that.
Yeah, she's
place.
comfortable
I have
with
not
who she
always
is.
been comfortable with
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah, that's true.
Acceptance has really helped me with that. You know, accepting myself, accepting the people in my life for who they are and not who I think they should be or I want them to be.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and same with myself.
Well,
Like,
and surrounding yourself with people who accept you for who you are, like that don't
Yes.
expect other things from you other than just who you are. And I think that is a Miranda, because Miranda just wanted a friendship and a group of women that accepted her for who she was.
no matter if she was like working and trying to climb that corporate ladder or if she was trying to be a mother and a wife.
Yep.
And I think that exactly what you just said, if you watch back on the show, she definitely like had some issues with like her self-confidence. Remember towards the end, her and her husband, like they had some issues and it was more self-indulged for herself than what it was anybody else saw her a different way.
right.
So I definitely think that you're her. You might have a mix of Carrie in there a little bit.
Yeah.
just
but
the free spirit part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give you that. I
Yeah.
would give you that. And then
Definitely not the fashion part. 'Cause
not me. Y'all
I'm
look
low
like
on
I'm
the
in jeans
totem
today,
pole.
so there's that.
We all know who I am.
Samantha.
Samantha.
Hands down, Samantha.
And I love you for it.
Yes, Samantha. Like I could even
Strong,
see her
powerful.
wearing the little pasties at the party.
Wait, the pasties? Or what about the night that she does the sushi on the table?
Yep.
And
Yes.
then,
Then she just starts eating herself.
because she's pissed that he didn't show up. That's
And then
so
she
me.
does not wait on
And
a
then-
man.
Oh, and she's like, and I'm here making all this sushi by hand.
You know that would be G. Late, he forgot something, forgot to
Didn't
tell
even realize it
me.
was Valentine's Day.
Didn't even realize. Didn't
Came
realize
home
when
with
you're
You're
chocolate
laying
that he
there
picked up.
like, eat me.
Yes. And then
Wait.
yeah, and then he shows up. What are you so mad about, honey? I don't understand.
Oh yeah.
Here's a box of chocolate.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I love it. I
Definitely
love it. So,
Samantha.
and now that everybody knows our dynamic, no, that's fun. I think that our friendships have definitely changed over time. On the way here, and I think when we talked the other day, I told y'all. So for all of our listeners, we all went to college together. We lived together. We met at different times through college, and then we all kind of joined together. But once we were together, anybody around knows exactly. They used to call us the Prozac pack. I know. And I think back to myself and I'm like, you know, we weren't really crazy. We were just very adamant about what we wanted, how we
Right.
wanted it, how things were going to go.
And that's hard for people to process.
Except we were all
you know?
three very, very strong women, and we still are very strong women. So it was funny because on the way here this morning, I was like, you know what? I'm still okay with that label.
Yeah, same.
Like the Prozac pack is back this morning, and
Cheers.
with all of our
Yeah, I'll cheers to
craziness,
that.
yeah.
Because look, even with the Prozac pack, we got a lot of free shots because they would
Yeah,
act
we
like we were
did.
taking our pills. We got more free shots than anything. So, joke's on you.
Yep. And we're still together.
Exactly. And it's crazy to think just how much time has changed everything around us.
Yeah.
But that our relationships, they obviously have went through their struggles.
Yeah.
There were times that Elizabeth and I didn't talk. There were times that Ashley and I didn't talk. But then I look back and I'm like, I couldn't do life without you guys. So it's really crazy to see where we are.
To me, that just tells you that we are meant to be in each other's lives. You know, sometimes we veer off course. You get depressed or you get into unhealthy relationships or,
Right.
You're busy being a new mom and trying to figure out who you are now in this world. You know, your heart's literally outside of your body. It's like, I don't even know how to function anymore. But, no matter what we've gone through, we've always found our way back to one another.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for that every single day of my life. That's why I'm like, What are y'all doing? Let's go get lunch. Let's hang out.
Right. I
Let's
mean,
get
you
our
really
kids
think
together.
about it. Like,
We
the
have
first person we all think about when it's time to go do something is like our group message. Like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? And even though we may not meet for 3 weeks later,
Right.
we are still.
There was a TikTok about that.
We are still
Saying.
trying to meet with each other and make sure, or even if we're just asking, hey, how's your school week going? Hey, what's going on? What are the kids doing? Like, it's just
Sending memes,
yeah,
videos.
Yeah, we now have to send,
stay connected.
Instagram
I
stuff
know,
because
I
she's not on
know.
TikTok anymore. But
I'm trying to live that better life.
What? Natural?
no,
Not on my phone all
Whole
the
30.
time.
Whole 30 as of this morning.
Yesterday, thank you. I went through a whole entire day.
this I'm
No,
very
but I
proud.
do think that for me, when I think about our dynamic definitely shows more in our relationships too, whether that's with our spouses or with our kids. So let's touch on that with our spouses, how different all of our relationships are, whether that's single mom or Ashley's been married for 16 years this November. Garland and I will be married 17 years, and our dynamic is different. And just FYI for everybody listening, Ashley and I have to approve anybody that Elizabeth dates.
Yes, absolutely.
That's only because I'm so amazing.
That too.
And you
And
have
so
to
many
be
other
like
reasons.
cool enough to come and
Yes.
join our
Indeed.
clique.
We're
Part
a
of it.
very interesting group of people. So to have somebody come in that
Here's what I think. I love
dud.
y'all, and whoever's going to love me is going to love you too.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
I'm
And
a
I
lot,
think
though.
that when
And
it
there might
comes
be
to-
somebody out there, but
There's
you know.
definitely somebody out there for you. He's just not around yet.
Yep.
I
Yet.
think that, you have to find somebody that helps your relationship and who you are as a person. Like for me, it's funny because we always joke that I basically married an Erika. Like my husband he's amazing. He loves me wholeheartedly. He constantly makes sure that I'm okay. He's always asking me questions of what I want and what I need. And he's always there for me no matter what. Like he's always supporting me in everything that I'm doing. But if you interrupt our inner circle and you are somebody that he feels is a threat, you're out. You're done. Like, don't even cross the path, which is kind of like Erika.
Yeah.
If she feels like someone is coming into our territory to bring in
destruction,
chaos, you're done.
Chaos.
Like,
I can't take it. I can't
She'll
take
tell
it.
you, don't come around us anymore. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not invited
And
anymore.
then Elizabeth and I are like, but and she's like, no, we're done. They're done. They're bringing in negative
I
energy.
think that's you.
That is
She whispers it in my ear and I just say it out loud. That's what happens. She's like, I really don't think that I want to hang out with this person anymore. Remember? I'm like, okay, fine, we're done.
yeah. So it's funny because then when you look at Garland and Erika's relationship, she pretty much married me.
Yes.
The male version of me in a sense.
Non-scheduling, ADHD, creative, all over the place.
Aquarius.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So Erica's husband is an Aquarius, and Ashley and I both are Aquariuses.
And
never
I am a
thought of
Leo.
that.
What? And she's a Leo. Yeah, my ex was a Leo.
I never
Great.
thought that. You have surrounded yourself with awesomeness.
Yeah, you have Aquarius.
Y'all
people.
stress me out.
Yeah, free
Y'all stress me
spirited.
out a lot.
Awesome. I just started using a Google Calendar, and Erika tells me on a regular basis how amazing I'm doing, and I'm like, yeah, I have my first thing scheduled on Google Calendar.
And then when I get the acceptance that she accepted something that I sent her, I'm like, yes, she's still doing it. Yes. But then I look at like Elizabeth's, like Ashley's relationship. She's right. I do think that Drew and I have a lot of similarities. But I also have like a different side of myself. As much as I am a Leo and
Strong,
powerful,
powerful.
but I am a free spirited. I like outdoors and hiking and quiet time and less chaos. And
And
that
you're open-minded.
Yeah.
I'm very open-minded to a lot of things. I'm not so square on religious beliefs and political views. Like I think that probably makes me a little bit different than a lot of Leos. But I think that's why I'm drawn to my relationship with you, because you bring that part out in me, that free-spirited, that no, I'm not using lemon for deodorant, but
It was lime, but okay.
okay, whatever it was. I just remember like I am never gonna try that. But I do think that like you bring that part out in me, and so I think that anybody that's gonna be with you, you're gonna have to have somebody a little bit different than
Yeah,
you.
I do agree with that.
Do you remember the night we sat at my house and we reviewed all the portfolios for
Yes.
the dating app for
Yes.
her?
Tinder. Oh my gosh.
Tinder is
rough.
terrible.
It is rough out there, folks.
It really is. I say to myself all the time,
I'm not.
If you-
It's not
I would
happening.
not. If I was single, I would not go back into the dating world because Men, come on now.
Yeah. So what?
your
So
life
this is
out.
what we did. So I went and I screenshotted any of the dudes that I denied, and let me tell you, I denied.
We're back to
a
calling
lot.
them dudes. We're dudes now. They're dudes now.
Bros.
So and I wanted to make sure like I'm not being too picky. So we did this game called Am I a Picky Bitch? And so I read out these profiles to my friends and
showed us pictures.
and
Yes.
showed pictures, but mostly it was what
Pictures first.
what
no,
they put
profile.
in their-
Was it picture first and then profile?
No, profile
Profile
first. What they wrote
then
in their
the picture.
bio.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that maybe I wasn't being too overly picky. And so we found out that I'm not being too picky.
There
I'm
was
a
not
picky
one
bitch.
single person that I would have been
No.
like, yes, please go on a date with them. Like just even an initial date. I was like, no.
terrifying.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, guess what? I found somebody not on dating apps, and
That's right.
we'll see where
Well,
it
that's
goes.
good.
It's very new, but I'm really excited about it, and I feel like a teenager again.
He's a
talking on the
dude?
phone.
Is he a dude or is
he
he
is a
boy
man.
or a man? Man.
So all the guys before were dudes,
Yeah.
and now we found
He's
a
a man.
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 Yep.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. I don't know. I think that even the way that our friendships are and our marriages are, I think the way we deal with our children are different too. And I think a lot of moms like struggle with that they have to correct or discipline or love a certain
everybody
way and the way
Right.
everybody else does. And what I like about our dynamic is that it's different in every household. Like
Yeah.
Elizabeth has the patience of a goddess and I do not.
No.
Not all the
But
time.
I'm in between. Like I have a lot of patience, but then I don't have a lot of patience. It just depends. But I will tell you, like, having different parenting styles, it helps me because if I do have a question about something or if I'm not sure about what I think in my head is correct, I like to ask y'all because I tend to sometimes just want to go straight to burn down cities and lose my mind. But then I can call Erika, who I know is going to want to burn down a city with me. And she's like, actually, and I'm like, what is this? You just calmed me down. How is this possible? And then I'll call Elizabeth on a time where I don't want to burn down a city. And then she throws me off and she's like, no, this is how you need to do it. I'm like, what? What is happening? But then it's a nice happy medium because then I don't lose my mind like a lunatic.
Yeah.
Keeps me
It's hard when it comes
keeps
to
me
our
grounded.
kids. Like, I mean, literally, that is our
Yeah.
lives. Like, we are who we are. We are, strong, powerful, working women, but we are moms.
Yeah.
We're moms. We brought those babies into this world, and it is our job to make sure that they
Yeah.
are self-sufficient. They're content and happy. They're fulfilling their passion. And so that's why my biggest parenting is lead by example. What I want my son to emulate. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have a degree, but I am
So it's still
drinking.
questions for work.
So I wasn't right. I think that's the right word. But so lead by example is like one of my biggest parenting, and I'm very thankful because I have great inspiration.
I was just about to say,
around
I
me.
think all of our kids are able to see other women and men in their lives that are leading by example. And for me, like, so Aubrey had to read at Mass the other day, and she only had one sentence. But what I realized through that, watching her, is that she just stood up in front of, I don't know,
entire
300
congregation.
kids?
Yeah, probably about 350. Yeah.
350 students at her school, and she adjusted her microphone. She stood up there so proud, and she read, and then she paused, and she said, what she was supposed to say. And the whole time leading up to that, we were talking, and she's like, Mom, she asked to read. I mean, because the teacher asked, does anybody want to read, or do you want to bring up the gifts? And she said she wanted to read. And so my son never wanted to read. He always brought up the gifts whenever he was asked. So I have two different children that are completely different dynamics, but they're strong in their own way. And so when Aubrey said she wanted to read, I asked her, I said, so why did you choose to read? And she said, because I'm a boss babe. I emulate that in her.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, like I make sure that she knows that you can do anything that you want to do. But then on the other side, if my son, he doesn't want to read, but his work ethic and baseball and his extracurriculars
Motivation.
and his study habits, they are so everything that I want for them. A lot of people that know me, and for those of you that don't, I have very high expectations at my house. Like most people would think that they're almost unattainable. But if I keep them so high, then I feel like my kids are constantly trying to reach and satisfy. But then I also have to have that Elizabeth in me that when they fail or they fall short, that I can coddle them and cuddle them and tell them that when we fail forward. We learn from what our mistakes were. We learn from what we fell short and we try again. And so like Ashley was saying, I think that I pull from y'all because I have really high expectations, whether that's for business or for my personal life, for my marriage, financially, there's huge expectations there. But I also know that there's a time for me to coddle and listen and be that mom. And then there's also the time that I need to have more patience. And I think a lot of moms that are listening to this right now would agree that sometimes when you are strict or stern, you get in the car and you want to cry after because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Or you coddle them and you give them that extra step and then they still act like a complete ass. And you're like, why did I not put my foot down on that?
Until you know.
Until you know, right? And so I think my advice would be surround yourself with people that you can talk to about how you're going to handle things with your kids. Look, there's not a book for this crap.
No.
Like,
We're all just free falling.
Yeah,
here.
you're all just hoping for the best. Like,
I'm like, oh my
Crossing
God.
my fingers and toes.
So what do you think has been the hardest part of motherhood so far?
Oh my gosh. I think for me, well, it's a little different. So both of my kids, I mean, they're like 4 years apart, 4.5 years apart, actually 3.5 years apart. For me, with my oldest, it's that I just recently moved her to a new school. And my fear was, you know, she was the kid that had a lot of friends at her old school and everybody loved her and wanted her to go to a certain school. But I wanted her to go to a place that I felt like could grow a little bit more than the other place that I was going to send her. And that was a really hard decision for me because I know that she really wanted to go to that school and not move, because even though she had a few friends that went with her, she was leaving her whole life behind, like the parents that we knew and just, I mean, my village, not my inner village, but my village of parents that I know that if I drop my kid off here, somebody knows who she is.
Her friend
and they're
circle.
going to make sure. And her friend circle, she had a big friend group, and I moved her away from there. And I guess that was really hard for me. But then I'll say this, we're 8 or 9 weeks into school, and yesterday I asked her, I said, hey, if I was to move you to another school next year, how would that make you feel? And she was like, to be honest, Mom, I would miss my new friends. It's only been 8 weeks. And like people are sending me text messages telling me how amazing she is. All the things that I know about her, they're sending me these messages, and it's a place that doesn't even know her. So like my hardest part for that this year was moving her. But now my biggest reward this year
Seeing her grow
is that I moved her and she's growing and she's learning and she's being who I think she can be. And then on the flip side, I've got my youngest, who is a structured, rule following, does not like change. Just
Drew.
Yeah, she is her dad through and through. I mean, she is not about it. But my hardest thing for her is she's got an attitude, y'all. She is a hurricane, and we know this.
She did not like me for years.
If she doesn't know you, she is not talking to you. You can tell her hi. Oh yeah, she finally will talk about Elizabeth as if like she's a person and she knows who she is. I mean, this has been a long time. I mean, she loved Erika from the get-go because I mean they grew up with her, but Elizabeth was like still knew her from the get-go, and she's still like, who is this person? I don't know you. But for me, it's with her, what's really hard right now is reeling in that attitude to let her know that you can't be an asshole. Yeah. Yes, you're really smart. Yes, you pretty much succeed in everything that you do, but you got to be humble and you can't be an asshole.
Yeah.
So teaching that is hard because I never dealt with that with my oldest. My oldest was always just this free.
She's always been humble.
Happy.
No matter
humble.
what, she was always humble.
Exactly. But Savannah's like, well, I mean, I play better than them, so obviously that's why I'm better. And I'm like, no, you can't be that way. You have to be sweet and kind and humble on your skill. Some people don't have that.
She's a leader.
Yeah, she's a leader, but man, you can't be an asshole leader.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can. There's a lot of leaders who are assholes, but I mean, geez, at 9, I need you to calm it down.
Rein it in a little bit, sis. What's your hardest
Dun rain. So I would say my hardest would be losing myself in motherhood. You know, I didn't know if I was going to be able to be a mom, and he is like a miracle to me. Like I just am so delighted and so thankful. And so, you know, when I had him, it was just all about him. You know, I didn't even want to be away from him for like 5 minutes, you know, for the first 2.5 years of his life. But it got to a point where I was like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, I don't spend time with my friends. My relationship is crumbling. You know, of course, COVID happened. That didn't really help. So I definitely lost myself in motherhood. And, you know, after I left my ex, like I had to allow Rain to have experiences with other people. I want that for him. I don't want to be his whole entire world, right? It's not healthy for him or myself. And so I started letting my parents spend time with him. You know, we started hanging out with you and the kids. Remember the first time I let him play outside with the kids?
Do you remember the first time she came to the house and she was like, oh my God, he can go in the room by himself? I'm like, it has kid toys.
Or she was like, do we need to go outside with him? No, it's hot. We are not going outside.
Exactly.
Well, what about the trampoline? It's got a net around it. Well, what if he falls through the crack of the trampoline?
So yeah, that was me, and I've come a long way.
You have.
I have.
You really have.
I still, you know,
Hover.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I've gotten better, and I continue to get better as I balance myself of who I am and what I need. And I used to think that was selfish. I felt shameful about it.
Moms do that.
Moms
So
do
many
that all the
women
time.
So
do
much
that.
motherhood and shame. It's like ridiculous. And, you know, I don't want to live my life in fear and shame and guilt. And so I really work hard on that. But, you know, like we said, it's our babies.
Right.
And so, you know, you always want to do what's best for them. But I also have to do what's best for me too. And that's okay. And I've
It's
realized
okay to
that.
bring them to a babysitter. It's okay
Yeah.
to go out to dinner with your friends. Like a lot of times moms think that you can't do that, or you have to be the person that cooks, or you have to be the person that does the laundry, like plus run all their schedules. No, you don't have to do that anymore. And that took me a long time to figure out too. Like I was constantly going and moving and trying to make sure everything was done, where now I say, that's not my bathroom. You clean it. That's not my clothes.
Yes,
You
indeed.
hang it up. I'm not hanging up your clothes anymore. I got to hang up enough stuff.
Yep.
You know, I'm not doing it. Even for my husband, you know, I did that with Drew now. You need to hang up your clothes. And not that he didn't want to or he wasn't going to.
You just
it was
took
just
it
I
upon
always
yourself.
did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now he gets up and he'll start washing clothes and he'll start doing things. And I don't even have to say, hey, can you wash these clothes? Because we're now trying to work together instead of
That's called a boundary.
Yes.
So I was just about to say.
And boundaries are very important in life. I did not know that. It took me 40
Hence.
years to learn that.
So I saw a TikTok.
Fine, I'll get back on.
And there was a lady that I follow, and she called it the invisible box above motherhood. And it intrigued me, like the caption. And so I watched it, and what the video was about is about the invisible box of motherhood is that our brains actually never turn off. That everything that we do, it is like a genetic, natural reaction for us to be a week ahead of time about, okay, we have to have this on the schedule. We have to have dentist appointments. We have to go to the doctor. We have to go here. Oh, what about this for the family? And we're going to have baseball this day. And we're going to have dance this day. And we're going to have cheer. And we're going to have volleyball. And we're going to have basketball. All these things. And then we have work. And we have work things that we're trying to do. It's the invisible box that like we never actually get to like turn the light switch off. And so therefore what happens is that everything that I just said turns into the number one priority. And the next priority is everybody else's stuff. And then we don't do anything for ourselves. And I can relate to what you were saying because there was a time that after Aubrey was born, I had been very depressed in between Kipton and Aubrey. You guys know this. We lost a child in between there, and it was devastating for me. And I gained a lot of weight. And then I found out I was pregnant with Aubrey, which was a blessing and scary all at the same time because she wasn't supposed to happen. But I guess if you don't protect that from happening, it happens.
yeah, the pull-up method does not work.
Yes.
I'm a product of that.
So I mean, so whenever I did get pregnant with her, then I was absolutely petrified that I was going to go through the same scenario that I did in between, and then I gained more weight. So we were almost 100 pounds heavier than what I was after Kipton, and I knew I needed a lifestyle change. I lost all of that weight after Aubrey, but then getting back into business and starting E&G, I was like, constantly gaining weight because guess what? Everything else turned into the priority except for myself.
Yeah.
And so when I talk to a lot of moms, it is a real life struggle for us to put ourselves first.
Yeah.
Because we feel like everybody else should come first.
Do you think society's promoting us to put ourselves
No.
first?
No,
No.
no, not at all. And people always ask me, when was the mind shift for you, Erica? And I will say a year ago, Garland and I went on an adult trip. Well, no, yeah, not this July, but last July. We went on our adult trip and we took pictures. And I am okay to say this about myself. Nobody else should demean themselves, but I'm
Never.
going to demean my own self. I can do that because this is how I keep my mentality where it needs to be. I was a fat fucking whale, and all of my friends,
not.
including the two
can't
ladies that were in here,
Stand to hear you say that.
the rolls were like flowing over like a wave in
they
the
were
pool.
not.
Your body had gone through so much. You have to have love and understanding for that.
Yeah,
And
my
look what
husband
you've
said
done.
I was absolutely sexy then, and I was
Look
not
what you've
sexy.
done.
Okay,
You've
you can give me all
worked hard
that
and-
wonderful positive motivation, and I love that. But let's be real.
I love that.
But let's be real. A year ago,
You just
that was
weren't
not
happy
in a
with yourself.
healthy place.
Not other people thought that about you. You just were not healthy.
They should have told me that I had gained weight. Okay. The truth was in the closet. Okay, I would go put clothes on and they wouldn't fit, and then I would go buy, or yoga pants became my best friend.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, when I
You
came
took
back,
on the weight of the world, my love.
that's okay, but that's what the issue is
Right.
that we take on the weight of the world and then we forget that we do have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And it was still even hard when I started doing that because it was like, okay, I have to take an hour for myself every day, an hour.
Out of a 24-hour day.
Why?
1 hour.
1
Right,
hour.
1 hour. But in the same token, I agree with Ashley. I thought that I had to be this wife that would cook every night and get up in the morning and make lunches every day and all this stuff. Guess what? No. Elizabeth laughs at me. Ashley laughs at me. I'm not going to the grocery store.
I love it. But you did this past weekend.
Oh my God. And it was
She went into
dreadful.
Walmart.
It was dreadful. I did not want to be there
I
at all.
was so shocked. I was like,
I
what?
love Walmart.
Yeah, because you probably get to run into all the people. And
No,
you
I
have-
don't love it for that reason. I love it because I get to go like look at stuff, and Walmart's got some cool stuff now. I mean, they've got, I don't know, they got all kinds of stuff.
No.
They have a Claire's in there. The
We're
kids love it.
we are not working harder. We work smarter.
Smarter.
We
Thank
do
you.
delivery because let me tell you, Elizabeth laughed so hard at me when I told her, I said, you're not going to believe I went to Walmart this weekend. And she was like, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did. And it was absolutely dreadful. She said,
No,
why?
I said, did you go to Rouse's? And she's like, Walmart. I was like, what?
Yeah, but the Ponchatoula Walmart's way better than any other Walmart.
Wait, I said, this is why I don't like going to the grocery store. I said, you go, you have to drive there. You park, you have to get out. You go in, you walk up and down the aisles, you put the stuff in the buggy. Then you have to go check yourself out. And y'all know how I feel about that.
It's terrible.
It's
It is.
terrible. People are
Ashley's
losing
like,
their jobs.
"Ding,
Yeah.
ding."
Then you have to unload it to check it out yourself. Then you have to put it in the bags. You have to put it back in the buggy. Then you have to go to your car and you have to unload the shit again. Then you get to your house. You have to unload the shit to the counters. Then you have to unload it,
Put it
to the
away.
pantry. Do you know how much time that is?
Yeah.
Do you know how many mimosas I could have had by then?
You can drink while you shop.
I did.
I love Sam's. I will go to Sam's and I can be in there forever. And then I love
Well, all
to
the
go home.
samples. I mean, who doesn't love Sam's?
I don't
and
eat the
their
samples because
What?
that stuff's been sitting out. I'm not eating something that's been sitting in a cup for hours. Get out of here. But I
The lady that
love-
doesn't eat the last piece of whatever she's eating.
Yeah, I don't eat the ends.
The
of things.
butts.
It's weird. The butts. Yes, weird. It's
See,
been
I'm like,
touching
give me the butt.
air
I like
whole
the butt.
log.
I like
then I like
butts.
to organize it and I put it in my little containers and then I bag it all up. I love it.
You know what I started doing? Whenever Garland tells me, if Garland goes to the grocery, I am being 100% honest with everyone listening right now. I am that bougie little snot. I'm not going to the grocery store. The only reason
We
why
all
I went,
have our limits.
that's
baby.
right. The limit is that I will have it delivered and then I tell my kids,
You put it up.
put it up.
No, I can't live that life.
Because they would put it in places it's not supposed
They
to
would
be.
have
Hide
second.
it in their room.
Hold on a second.
Look.
Go into my pantry. It is very organized.
It is.
All the breakfast stuff is up there.
Your house
All
is
of it.
beautiful.
All of the.
That's why we
chips.
love having get-togethers at your
Right,
house.
right. Yep.
Although Rain does love having people over, so we should have a lasagna night at my house coming
Okay.
up soon.
Is that an invite?
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
I love to cook lasagna.
I'll bring
my
the
mom's
rolls.
family recipe. Rolls with lasagna? No, we
Well,
do
the
French
garlic
bread. Yeah,
French bread? I'll bring that.
Garlic
Can I
bread.
get it from the store?
sure.
Like, you're going to put it in the oven.
I'm not going to the grocery store. That's a hard
Right.
pass.
What is
Supermarket.
Erica bringing? I'll pick hers up from the store.
Alcohol.
The champagne.
I'll pick
No,
her
I
up
just
from the store.
I do think that I don't know. I'm laughing to myself because I'm thinking like my hardest part about being a mom is wanting them to be better than me.
Yeah,
You're better financially.
And look at all that you've gone through to get where you're
But
at.
look
It's
at
about
all of
the
our
journey, baby.
stories.
And and as much as we want to protect our kids, they are gonna have to go through their own journey. And all we can do is be there to love them, support them, and guide them if they ask.
Yeah.
Right? If they ask, because we don't
I
want to
don't
be
know.
those
I'm
moms.
guiding whether they
We
ask.
don't want to be
Waiting for
those
them.
moms.
No, I'm gonna be that mom. I need to know.
That wants to tell you.
Ashley
what
is
they
like to
think.
sit at the counter and be like, "Okay, Brinley, tell me what's going on."
Tell me all the stories.
Rain sometimes is like, I don't want to talk about my day. I'm like, okay, well, if you do change your mind, mommy's here to listen. I love hearing about
There's
your
that
day.
patient mothering, and I'd be like, "No, you're gonna stay here and you're gonna tell me what's up."
I'll be like, what did you do today?
Sometimes he'll be like, I love you. And I'm like, I love you too. And I'll say, I was talking to myself.
Hey, affirmations every day. Affirmation
I'm like,
every
you go,
day.
baby.
No, but I think it goes back to the boundaries. Like, you can say that going to the grocery store is a boundary, but like, in all fairness, for motherhood,
Yeah.
and for our
It's
sanity,
something
I think that we
you do
have
not
to
like
put
to
into
do,
place.
and you can do other things during that time. And so you, like you said, smarter, not harder.
I have to say that when I put into place that I was going to work smarter, not harder, and putting in like some really hard boundaries.
Fridays
is-
off.
Fridays.
Love it.
I don't. And the
love
reason
it.
why is because it is for my sanity so that then I can do things that I need to do. But then people are like, oh, you're off on Fridays? I am off on Fridays, but did you know that I worked until 6 o'clock on Tuesday? Or did you
Right.
know that I worked until 7 o'clock on Thursday?
And
Because
they can
Arby's
keep
at
their
dance.
judgy thoughts to themselves.
Oh,
So
there she goes. I think that
She's not. Being
we feel
rainbow
guilty when we do things for ourselves.
Yeah.
We feel guilty when we put the boundaries in place.
Yep.
crazy. Yep.
But then isn't putting the boundaries in place so that we actually take care of ourselves and that we actually have a little bit of sanity for ourselves? Like, if we don't do that, I feel like it brings in chaos. And you said that earlier. I don't like chaos. I cannot function in that. I'm a high functioner as it is.
Yep.
So for me,
high functioning anxiety. Thank you.
yes.
No, I thrive in chaos. I absolutely thrive in chaos.
She does too.
Procrastination. Like I tell
I
my
would
mom all the
die.
time. I
I
tell
would
my mom
die.
everything always falls into place. Everything's a freaking
Hey, that's
shit
having
show.
faith in the universe. Just
Oh yeah,
trusting
everything's a
that
shit
it's
show,
gonna
and then all of
work
a
out.
sudden it's like, oh, this time's working. Ooh, girl, you look good. And I'm like, it's my procrastination. Thank you. Everything falls into
Garland.
place. My printing happens. Somebody's nice to me. They let me cut the line. I've got 3 minutes late, 3 minutes shorter of my time. I get to where I need to be. It's awesome.
Yeah. I
Procrastination.
wish we could all be like that.
straight chaos.
I do. That's
I
one of
live
the
that
things I
life.
love about you is how laid back and chill and go with the flow.
You just
are.
said that the other day that you wish
Yep.
you could be more like that.
And I love how strong and powerful and confident you are. You guys literally complete me.
Well, it's funny because my mom and I
You
got in like a
complete
small argument the other day because we've been doing lives for the store and I just turn the camera on and I start talking. I do my stuff and she's like, I have no idea what to say because you just throw me in here. We need to get a script. And of course, I've got Garland. A script is great. I'm like, dude, you don't have a script. Erica makes
For
sure
those that are listening, y'all do have a little backstory. Ashley and I's office and shop are right next door to
Yes.
each other.
Yes.
Downtown Hammond, baby.
Downtown
That's where
Hammond,
it's at.
yes.
Downtown
so,
Hammond.
Garland's like, Erica always has a script. I'm like, well, then Erica can write my mom's script because I am not writing a script. Mom, you can make up something if you need to, but my brain cannot function and break down. Let me write a script for my mom. Let me do this. Let me write a script for this. I turn that camera on and I hope for the best. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, guys, don't even look at my hair today because I don't even know what I was doing because I didn't even plan to do this. But that's just the way my brain cannot slow down long enough to schedule.
And that's Garland too. Like, he really thrives in that atmosphere. And I've had to rein that in because with us working together, that was not a good, like, we laugh and we joke. Like, Ashley and I are best friends, but we could not work together unless she changed some of her daily life. Like,
No.
we couldn't do it. But when she comes to me and asks me things, I am open to the way that she wants to do things. That's her business. That's her lifestyle.
You're not trying to make her like you.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make her like me. I'm not trying to make Garland like me.
Yeah.
But for Garland and I to function in the same office.
Well, you live together. You have
Right.
a family
if he
together.
plans on me
and
having
you
sex
work
with him, then we have to
Yes, yes.
focus.
Garland, are you listening?
Yeah, I know. Just you have to focus. Drew gets so mad at me because he'll say, Ashley, where are we going? I'm like, I don't know. I'm putting in the GPS. You haven't looked at it yet? You haven't figured it out? Like, how do you know how long it's going to take? I'm like, I don't know. I figured we would just leave now. He's like, I can't deal with this. I can't do this. I'm putting in the GPS right now. We need to leave right now. I was like, that's what I said. We need to leave right now.
But Drew also looks at menus before we get to places
Yes,
and
I
knows
do
what
too.
it is.
I want to know what I'm going to order before I get there. You tell me we're going to
Okay,
go
so
eat
see,
at
I'm
the
not
Rusty
that
Pelican.
bad.
Like, as soon as I get a moment, I'm looking at that menu. What am I going to eat
See,
today?
I'm not like that. I'm not that bad, Ashley.
No, you're not that bad.
I am more, okay, so in my business life, I am very much detail
It's your
oriented
business.
and
It's
very
on your
high
shoulders.
functioning and
Yeah.
Google Calendar. If it is not on my calendar for work and some personal stuff, it's not happening because there's so many things coming in and out. But the only thing that I still control is our adult vacation. But that's because I'm trying to micromanage like 12 people trying to get somewhere and we're out of the
She
country or
only
whatever.
controls until we get to our
I
destination.
really want to have a person for next year's vacation. Come on.
Okay, so
'Cause
for
it's-
the
'cause
record,
it's a singles. Not a single, it's a couples.
I mean, you could just bring somebody.
That's what Ashley says.
But like, don't bring somebody we don't
But whenever I get there, then I let go. So then in my
Yeah.
personal space, like on Fridays and Saturdays, I try not to control those things. I try not to because for so long it became a stressful pain point for me that then I was like on and I had a schedule and I had to do all these things every single day of my life and it was not healthy. So I look at it that again, you know this, you work in the corporate world. You have to be, and you work from home. That's new too. So then
and there is, well, right now there's only one of me. Well, there's about to be just one of me in my department. And so I have started putting down boundaries at work. Hey, you have me on this call and this call. Can we combine it together?
Right.
You
That'd
know,
be one
like,
thing.
yes. And so they might think that I might be changing a little bit, but it's for my own health, mental health and
But
well-being.
what's interesting
like,
is that people think that you're changing, but maybe you're not changing. They don't like the fact that you're telling them this is what I'm doing. I get that all the time. You're so mean about things. And I'm like, no, I'm not mean. I'm just not doing that. Why am I mean? Because I'm not doing it.
because you're not doing what they want.
Right. Like you think I'm being
because you're not
honoring.
compromising on what they're asking.
Yeah.
I've had that title for a
I've
long
been
time since
controlled
high
my
school.
I'm getting it
entire
more and more
life.
every day. I have heard this more in the past month that I am mean. And I'm like, how am I mean? Because I don't want to do
You're
what
not
you
mean.
want to
You've set up
do.
boundaries and they don't like your
Yeah.
boundaries. That's the problem.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no. Well, maybe my face has just read it since high school. It just is what it is.
I love it.
And I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just trying to say, no, I'm not doing that. Or yes, I am doing that. But when
Right.
I say I'm going to do something, I give it 150%.
Right.
Because I want it to be good. It's a representation of whatever I'm doing, my business, whatever, the fun run.
Yep.
The things that like I put my name that's attached to, I want to make sure that it goes well.
Yeah.
And then that gives me anxiety because I want to make sure that it goes well.
That's right.
You know?
And then you start to like, then when people veer off of that because they don't run their lives that way, then when you get mad about it, it's like, oh, well, she's just a bitch. No, it's not that I'm a bitch. It's that I had things the way that I wanted to do and you screwed it up because you didn't do your job.
Yeah.
So why is it my fault?
Accountability, baby.
What did somebody tell
So
you?
what is it? It's affirmations, it's
Yes.
boundaries, and it's accountability. If you walk into my office right now and you ask any of my staff and any of my 50 subcontractors, what is Erica's number one core value? They will tell you accountability. Do not come to me with an excuse for anything.
Yep.
Like, you have to be accountable if we made a mistake. Be accountable if you are late to work. Be accountable if you are not doing
I'm
what you're
sorry
supposed to
that
do.
happened.
Right.
That's my fault.
right.
I
But
will
this is how we're
try
gonna fix
hard
it.
not
This
to
is
let
what
it
we're
happen
gonna do.
again. That's how I parent my kid. You know?
Right, because we're teaching
I'm
them
like,
that.
baby, everybody makes mistakes. Mommy makes mistakes. Miss Dove, you're teaching
Right.
everybody.
Nobody is perfect.
You
Nobody's
make
perfect.
mistakes, but we have to be understanding, and everyone's going to try. You have to try harder. You know,
Accountability
You learn
is my
from it,
favorite
and
thing.
you try harder.
Right. You just do better next time. Like,
Yep.
and you're going to make another mistake and that's fine.
Yes.
It's just
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's. But my counselor likes to remind me of that, Elizabeth. Nobody's perfect. I'm like, I know, but I want to be. Perfect.
You're like, I get that, but what can I
She's
do
like,
to
nope,
be perfect?
nobody's perfect.
Okay, so I waited until there was like 20 minutes left to ask my like number one thing that I get from all of my ladies in my
Can you
group.
give me some more?
I know.
Yes, I poured more. I already poured more.
can't
Where are
reach
you?
it because I have this thing in my face,
Where's
and
that? Where's that guy?
if I like, I feel like if I reach farther, then I'm gonna knock into this thing, and then I know. I feel like this question's gonna be like a loaded question.
So it is a loaded
I need a
question,
drink.
and it might be like a ... to be continued. We might not get to finish it.
Sure.
But so one thing that when I have talked to a lot of women, whether that's through coaching or through me coaching or through my group, dun, 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 and we're going to see how honest everybody can be.
Oh, God.
We'll pour a little more.
Sex,
Question makes me nervous. Oh.
mothering, and sex and time with your spouse. And I know it comes with boundaries because that's how we have to. But in the same token, a lot of female moms, I'm not going to say single women because we're going to get to hear Elizabeth's side of that because I can't talk on that. So that's why I want to bring it up because I can't talk on that. But a lot of mothers struggle between work, stress, having sex with their spouse, and finding time for their spouse. And what I get is that a lot of people look at me and Garland's relationship online, and I call it that, like the snippet. But I'll be honest, Garland and I's relationship is probably one of the best relationships, but we work at it all the time.
Every day,
There are
yeah. It's
moments.
like
Ashley has
constant.
been there through some of the worst times of
Yeah.
our marriage, but we are definitely in a better place. But I know some couples that struggle, they schedule sex. Like, I don't even know if I could do that. Like, I don't know if I could say, oh, on Tuesday, you meet me at 8:30 p.m. and we're going to have sex. But then I look at it that, like, how do we make that work? A lot of mothers and a lot of business owners are struggling. Women, hence men, women do not like to have sex whenever they are stressed. It is
Yes.
not what we are
Yes.
focusing about.
No.
So then it goes back to how do we lower the stress level? Is that by boundaries? Like, it is a huge, I did a survey of 150 women, and the number one thing was balancing work life and then balancing their
with
sex
their
life.
husband
Yeah.
Or their spouse or
I
person.
feel like I plead the Charlotte. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I
I'm
will
just
say
kidding.
that.
I'm
I
just
know it
kidding.
puts you on the spot, but you don't have to
No.
talk directly about
No.
your sex
Yeah, yeah.
life. But I'm saying, like, in general, the concept. How do you
we-
feel about that?
So I think for me, like my life and Erica's life are completely different when it does come to work because Garland and Erika work together all the time. So like if they want to leave in the middle of the day and say, "Oh, we're going to a meeting," we all know they're not going to a meeting. They're not when they're getting in the car together. I'm like, they're either going to a job.
I think
or
I
they're
got
going
red,
home.
and that doesn't take. that
Like,
takes a lot.
I pretty much know what they're doing when they're walking from across the street, as weird as that sounds, because it's like you just know.
Yep. You're
I
getting
don't get
some,
that
baby.
because my day starts at 5, and that's just because I have to get up earlier than everybody in my house so that I can be dressed and I can have everything done just for my day to run smooth enough.
Sure.
And then Drew wakes up at, I don't know, I think he wakes up at like 6:55. I don't know what time he wakes up, but he gets up, he gets dressed within 10 minutes, then he leaves and he goes to work. And then he's at work all the way until probably 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock. And I'm not getting home till sometimes 8:30, 9 o'clock, depending on what the kids' schedules are. So during the week, our sex life is little to obsolete just because I'm tired. I'm
Yeah.
trying to go to bed. I know I
think
got to
we're
wake
all
back
tired.
up at 5. I have now tried to add some type of workout 3 times a week, which is horrible because I can't even stand sliding my card to walk into the gym. Like most people who work out and it's like, oh, it gives me endorphins and it's amazing and my life is fantastic because I'm just feeling this wonderful. No, that's not me. I put my clothes on. I'm pissed off because I know I'm going to the gym and then I work out and then I sweat and then I got to take a shower. It's like
going
the
to
gym me
Walmart.
is like going to Walmart. Yes, it's like going to Walmart for Erika. But so then you're tired. So then you leave it to the weekends. Now, before I will say this, we were still busy on the weekends because we had a whole nother business that we were doing and it was 24/7. So our sex life was very small. But then it got to a point where Drew and I had to sit down and have conversations with each other of what
Your
does this
needs
like? What
and
do
what
we
I can
want
do to help
Yes,
you, to
what
support
can we
you,
do?
so we can get connected. and-
Exactly. And and then
Good.
we went through like different mental states because we were stressed and we had a lot going on. We went through a very hard year. And just now are we going back to being better as a couple and talking. And I'll tell you, like
So happy to
a
hear
lot of
that.
times I would go to Erica about like, how do you and Garland figure things out? How do you and Garland know what you're doing. And look, they will burn down cities. We sometimes think she's killed Garland at the shop
brought him
because
back.
we're cutting cheese and all of a sudden you'll hear them yelling and then it'll be like silence. And my manager will say, oh, I think she killed him. I'm like, maybe she did. I'm not
Here
sure.
we go, the crazy lady. This is going to go viral now because they're going to be like, oh, the next
but if
crime
I
story.
ever-
But he always comes out. He always comes in.
Yeah,
He always is like, they're arguing and then he comes in. He's like, can I get a Diet Coke? I'm like, oh, Erika needs a Diet Coke. He's like, yeah, we're fine. She needs a Diet Coke. So, like, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
So it took, but with Drew and I, but the difference is that
Communicating,
we can burn
expressing how
down,
you feel.
right, but we can burn down cities, but Drew is so much louder than me and demanding and, he would never be any kind of way to me other than just trying to get his point across.
Very
so
direct.
whereas I'm hollering and screaming at him, he's hollering and screaming back at me. So
There's no communication.
there's no
happening at that
communication.
point.
There's nothing happening.
Garland and I have a rule that we can burn the place down,
you
but
gotta build it
then
back up.
the next day we're still going to talk about whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because if we don't talk about it and we don't figure it out, hello,
Yeah.
I'm not having sex with you. I have the chastity.
Right.
This is what you want.
Right. This is what you get. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
Got
what
the
you
goods.
want. And so
And
to
that's
get
what all
this,
even this new person in my life, has made comments about,
like this
he
is what
just-
you want. So to get that, we're going to talk about whatever it is that has made me frustrated or aggravated or whatever. And I think that for women that took the survey, it's more about
being able to express yourself,
being
express
able
those
to
feelings.
express yourself on like, look, I'm stressed as shit at work and this
Yeah.
is not working. Or you did this and it
Yeah.
has frustrated me and I'm not having sex with you tonight. Doesn't mean I don't want to have sex with you. It's
Or I
that
don't love you.
Or I don't love
love
you.
is
I think
always
the difference
there.
is
Right.
that men think that when you have sex with them that you've forgiven them and that everything's okay.
Yes.
Whereas a woman is still mad. So for
Yep.
me to get into the mood and I'm pissed off at you,
Yeah.
no.
It has
you
to
know?
be. It has to be right. You
Yeah,
know.
it has to be like real right. But I mean, Drew and I have
guess
definitely
what?
gotten better at that.
Even though you're married, you don't owe your husband sex.
No.
You know
That's
what I'm
not
saying?
the key
And that
to
is
making
also
everything
a
right.
societal
Yeah, no.
nonsense that is pushed upon us. That
Yes.
once you're married, my body's yours. Fuck no.
No.
It's still mine.
Yeah.
And if you aren't acting right, if you're not supporting me, if you're not loving me, if you're not doing life with me, then I'm not giving you the goods.
Right.
Good,
And it
goody,
also
goody.
goes about like what you feel like. What if you feel fat today? Or what if you feel this
Yep.
way? Like you don't feel like you want to do stuff like that.
Oh, that was a big part of me and Garland. Like when I was overweight, like that's just not my jam.
No.
Like he thought I was beautiful.
And he didn't understand why you didn't want to get down and dirty because
And then he
he
probably
Yeah.
thinks,
thinks
is
you're
it me?
amazing.
Is she mad at me? Like,
Yes.
is it,
Yes.
but it's like, it's not about you. It's about
Me.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
about
about
me
me and who I am.
And this is definitely like we can definitely continue this, but there's definitely another side to that because there are other things that happen in marriages that are a turn on or a turn off that make you want to and not want to.
Thank
or
you.
there's medications or there's things that extracurriculars that happen that men or women deal with that are not making them want to have sex.
Yeah.
And so like I think whenever I sent out the survey, it was more or less like just give me your top 3 things.
Yeah.
And
you found
that sex
consistent
was a huge
high on the-
huge thing. And it's very intriguing to me because when I look back at my story and how first of all, for everybody that's listening, I've always been a sexually active person. I love sex. I love
And there ain't no problem with that.
Right.
No.
Like, I love-
It's a relief. It's release. It's healthy. It
Yeah.
helps you connect with another person.
Right, exactly. Like, I love it. I love the way he makes me feel. I love the way when he touches me. Like there are things that, and I like to be creative. Like
Yeah.
I like that. It's a part of my sex life. It just is. But there are times in my sex life that I can remember, like when I started my business, I was so stressed out all the time that like that was so far from it. And it
Last thing on your
literally, he did not understand why that was a problem. Because also, if you're listening, my husband is younger than me. So when the wind blows, we have an issue.
Yeah.
So, or if I walk by or I'm getting dressed in the bathroom or whatever the scenario is, like he's
is
younger
it
than
really
me.
an issue? Is it
Washing
really an
dishes.
issue?
Right.
Look,
Um,
I'm all about an afternoon delight, okay?
Well, obviously I am too, since Ashley announced that to everybody.
Yeah.
She's going on.
Well, I will say, so this person, it's no alcohol, no nothing, like just you and that person, like connecting, and it's so beautiful, there's no expectations. It's just we're here, we're now, we're in the present, and we're experiencing this together.
So for all the single moms and women out there, that obviously is a big deal because
Yeah.
look, we're Ashley's younger than all of us, but
I am the oldest.
but we are
look it and I
closer to
don't feel
40. We are closer to 40 than what we are to our 30s. And so I think that changes what we're looking for.
Yes.
When I was in my teens and my younger 20s, I know what that sex life looked like. But now that I'm older, I have kids. What is that struggle with you, with Rain? I mean,
Well, first of all, I'm terrified of bringing somebody into my life, that could do harm to us, could do harm to me, could do harm to my child. Like that's like my number one fear with meeting somebody, Second, STDs are a fear. Yeah. Like I've gone my whole life.
It's crazy
I would
that
be terrible
that's still
that
a
would
thing.
happen. So that's always on my mind. And then time, my kid goes to his dad's every other weekend. Like I'm not out at the bars like we used to be in our 20s, right?
we don't want to meet guys at the bar. We're not meeting guys at the bar.
Yeah, no. And I don't want to,
Well,
quite
because
frankly.
we've been to the bar and we have seen them, and we don't want those either.
No. So that, it's just different dynamics now and different what I'm looking for. And I would rather be single and not have sex than be with the wrong person or be with somebody that is going to harm us or cause my life to flip upside down. And so I've been really, he's my number one priority. Of course I'm important and I'm my, I get by, but
I get that.
I love it. I get by.
but I'm rather wait now to find the right person.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to.
Well, there's so much more at stake too.
I do.
So
I think that
much more
there's
at
so much
stake.
more at
And
stake.
I want this to be it. Like I don't, so I'm very, you all joke and laugh. I'm picky. I'm picky.
Yeah.
I want what I want and I want who I want.
I think, but that
that's a
comes
good
from going through all of the ones that you didn't want.
that you didn't want.
And the things that you don't want again.
yes.
I think
We're not in the era of playing games. We're in the era of figuring out what our next move
This is transparent. This is me. You accept me.
I'm going to need to know what's in your bank account.
Yeah.
Well,
You're not coming to share my bank account unless you guys I'm in your bank
vacations
account.
can you take me on?
Right.
Well, it's not about money for me. I will always get by no
Yes,
matter
it
what.
is. You can
But
be a great
to me,
artist.
It's about the connection and,
Yeah.
like I'm a very creative person. I want to connect and create with somebody. So somebody that's able to be creative, somebody that's going to accept my kid and love him.
No,
for
that's the number one thing.
that
Well,
will
and
love
that's
him
not
as
going to
their
try
own,
to change you either, like because you've been thriving in theater and doing so many things you've always wanted to do for years, and
traveling.
Then you don't want somebody who's going to cripple you and tell you that you can't do
Well,
that.
I lived a
anymore.
life so stifled because I lived my life for that other person, him and
Right.
his issues and his mental health and his insecurities. I tried to
So all my
love him
listeners
enough
are going to want to
for
have a
himself.
podcast about that. Just that's the invite.
Yeah.
That's the invite. To
So
this.
now I'm looking for somebody that here. This is my analogy, and this is actually what I said to this possible person in my life. I said, I water my lawn, you water your lawn, and together we have a beautiful landscape. Like I am not accountable for you. You
Yeah.
are accountable for yourself.
Ooh, there's that word again.
Accountable.
I like
Yes,
that.
exactly. So
And I think the
sex
expectation is
great.
clear.
It is great, but it's great when it's the right person, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
when you
because
feel
look, okay,
safe
nobody in
with
this
that
room is
person.
going to be able to sit
Yeah.
here and say, "Oh, every time I've had sex, it's just been like this off the chart."
No,
like
not
made
Sometimes
me
they
feel
wear
so
socks.
beautiful every time.
Yeah.
No,
While
sometimes
they're
I'm like,
doing
"Oh,
it.
you want to go home and have a quickie? Okay, fine, or whatever." But no, but the majority of the time, you are right. It has to be a connection, and if for the women that filled out the survey, I love you guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And what I can tell you is that start thinking about exactly what we're talking about. What is your expectation for sex?
Yeah.
Is it that you're really not looking for someone and you just need the gratification? Because let's be real, like it is a gratification.
Very pent up sometimes.
Right. Or tense, like you just need to release that. Or is what you're looking for an absolute connection and you're
Yep.
looking for somebody? Because then that sex is different
Right.
than
Yeah.
what, the 2-minute quickness.
Right, just the wham bam.
Thank you, ma'am.
See ya.
Bye.
I do. I really think
11
that
hours all night long. That's
oh
the
my
kind
gosh.
that's the kind I'm looking
11
for.
hours.
So
I am not.
I am
I'm
not,
not looking for
Look,
11
the two
hours.
married women said we
Yes,
are
we're
not
not.
looking
No.
for that. I
we're
don't
back-
need 2 minutes.
We're back to working smarter, not harder.
I was working pretty smart.
I can't.
Oh my god!
But I
hope
mean,
nobody I know
guess
watches this.
I think what I'll say is that whether it's in your business whether it's your personal relationship, whether it's your sex life, or whether it's with your friends, make sure you're laughing, make sure that you're loving life, setting up some boundaries, being accountable, because the people that you surround yourself with are the people that lift you up.
Yeah.
They believe in you, they thrive with you, they cry with you. You ladies are here this morning, and it has been absolutely stunning to have you here. It makes me laugh. I'm glad I got to spend my morning with you. And I truly want to end on that. I can't do life without either one of you. And when we get together, my tummy hurts because we laugh. You guys have been there to wipe tears for me. You lift my kids up. You love them. And I challenge everybody that's listening, go find you some good friends that you can talk about sex with and that you can talk business with.
And your kids can play together.
Yes.
So
And
beautiful.
So it's been wonderful this morning, and I am so excited. And if you're listening to this and you want to hear more of us three, drop a comment and I will make sure that we have part 2 for sure. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll let you know when we drop the next episode. Thanks.
It'll be like